Welcome everyone to this evening's womb yoga class here at Shambhala Gatherings. So today we're gonna do a calm grounding class. I don't know how it is where you are, but here in Shambhala we have more than 30 degrees today, so it's really nice to just cool down a little bit. So today we can just start by lying down on the floor. And if you'd like to, you can also lie on a blanket today, because we're going to stay on the floor, lying or seated on the floor. So it's nice to have some extra support. So let us start by coming on our back. And I am fortunate to have 4 women with me in the room, so it's a little bit of extra presence. I'm not on my own today. And the first position that we can take is what we often do is the constructive rest pose. So you can bend your knees and just making sure that the feet are not too close to your buttocks. You kind of walk your feet a little bit away from you, and you keep the feet wide apart, so the feet are the width of your mat, open out the width of your mat, and the knees resting towards each other. And then if it feels good for you, you may place your hands by the womb. Just as a way to connect to your feminine center. And if it feels good, you can close your eyes. And if you keep your eyes open, you can gaze at one point. So we take this moment together, landing into our bodies. And let us take a few deep inhales, inhaling fully. And then releasing. One more full inhale. And release. Let's do that a few more times, and when you focus on the exhale, to lengthen the exhale, you tell the nervous system to calm down. So take a deep inhale, full inhale, and long exhale. I like to imagine how the exhales, they're like a cooling shower for my nervous system. So when I feel overwhelmed, when I feel stressed, I connect to the breath, and especially the exhale. One more deep inhale and exhale. Feeling how, as you stay in resting pose, in stillness, how your presence is moving inwards. To the inside as you are touching your womb, you feel that it is a loving connection. It's a gesture of holding this feminine center of your body. As you stay here, you may let one hand slide up to the heart. The heart being the representation of self-love, of nourishment. So as you hold your hand on the heart, it's a gesture of holding yourself lovingly. Holding your internal weather with love, with acceptance. So with the internal weather, we are talking about our emotional state. Some days it's just like the beautiful lake outside Shambhala, when the sun is glimmering in the water. Other days it's very stormy. And simply by holding your hand, you bring in the presence of allowance and acceptance. So as we move into the practice, we allow ourselves to feel just the way we feel, without trying to change or make things better. We allow ourselves to just be ourselves. Then the heart can rest. And from here you can let your hands glide down towards the floor, resting along your body. And what we will start with is to tuck and tilt the pelvis. So the first step is to keep the knees as wide as your hips. And simply what we will do is that on an exhale, you tuck the pelvis so you feel that the tailbone slightly lifts off the ground. And then as you inhale, you release the tailbone down. So you might not really see that I'm moving very much, but inside your pelvis you will feel how you are engaging the muscles. So as I exhale, I round the lower back and I squeeze a little bit with my muscles in my pelvis. And then as I inhale, I fully release. Tailbone comes down. Keep on moving. Squeeze very gently. Exhale. Tuck the tailbone. And then inhale, release. And the most important is the release. Because so often we tense our muscles and we create tension in our sexual organs. So feel that as you inhale, you let the inhale be full and complete, and you let your muscles fully let go. And when you inhale, you can feel that there's a very gentle lift in your lower back, curving in the lower back. And then exhale, opposite. I know that these movements, they seem maybe very small and not so impactful, but these are the deep layers that we need to work with in our feminine, in our womb. To activate the energy, the healing energy of Shakti, the sacred feminine. And then you come to neutral, you relax for a moment. And you just feel into your womb if you can sense any feelings, any energy starting to move. Maybe there is some emotions coming up, or maybe it's quiet. There is no right or wrong answer. We will do this same movement. This time we will do the opposite with our breath. So what I will do is that I lift my hips up on an inhale. And then as I exhale, I lower the hips down. With the inhale, you can also let the arms lift up above the head. And then with the exhale, you lower the hands down and you place them on top of your womb, pelvis all the way down to the floor. And the main focus of attention is on the breath. The breath is moving your body. And you can feel here that as you lift the hips up, you feel all the muscles that are connected to your pelvis. The buttocks, the thighs, the core, the lower back. So this is not only good for your pelvis to strengthen, it is also so good for other vital places in your body, the lower back especially. And I also invite you to bring in the sensual element, so feeling how your arms are lifting sensually up above the head, the hips. breath is moving through your body. Let us lift one last time all the way up, and we hold just for a few seconds and feel how you are squeezing the buttocks. You feel how the muscles in your yoni, in your womb, is engaging. And exhale, lower back down, arms to the womb. Let the feet stretch straight. And take it all in. Sensing into your womb. And especially feeling that the muscles in your pelvis, in your yoni, the sexual organs, are relaxed. We often hear about Kegels and how we need to strengthen our pelvic floor, but the truth is that we need to release. We need softness. And for our next movement, we're going to bend the knees back up, and you place the feet so that they are completely close to each other, so the inner feet are touching each other. And you may keep your hands on the womb if that feels good for you. And now we're going to go the opposite direction. So we're going to open the thighs out to the side as we inhale. And then as we exhale, we lift the thighs, the knees back together. And like I said, these movements, they might seem so simple, but they are very impactful for your womb. And you may feel as you start to activate your thighs and bring energy and strength into your thighs, how that can flow into your womb as the legs are so deeply connected to the pelvis. And you might feel here how you're noticing the inner thighs might start to get a little bit tired. The next time you open your thighs, you place the soles of your feet together. So we come into a variation of Baddha Konasana. And possibly if your thighs are a little bit tensed, you may need some support underneath your thighs to be able to stay here. so at least my whole life I have learned that a woman, to be elegant, we need to cross our legs, we need to close our thighs, but what happens with our femininity when we do that? Maybe we are closing down our femininity. And to shamelessly dare to keep our thighs wide and open up to the sacred energies of the pelvis. I would like to invite you as we stay here for our last breaths. Breathe all the way down into your pelvis. Direct your breath to the pelvis. Feel the energetic space of the pelvis widen as you inhale. And then you release, exhale. Maybe there's a sound. Do it one more time. One more time. So maybe we can start to release some of the pain and tension that our womb is holding. And from here you place your hands behind the thighs, underneath the thighs. You just gently lift them back up. And let your arms fall out to the side, and then you just lower the feet down, the legs down to one side. You inhale and you lift it up and over to the opposite side. And the beauty when we are doing yoga that is not so demanding is that we can really be with ourselves. We can feel each move in our bodies. And then the next time you're over to one side, you can stay there as we're going to turn over and lift ourselves up into sitting. So I wonder how you're all doing. If you feel like leaving me a message, maybe it's not the right time now, but I would love to just hear from you. Because it's a little bit difficult sometimes when I don't know who's there actually. So it really helps me to hear from you. And if not now, maybe at the end of the class, if you can just say hello, it would be really helpful. So from here, let's start by keeping the feet a little bit like in front of us, as wide from your pelvis as you want. So maybe for some you come very close with the feet, and maybe for others you need to stretch them away. So there's, with this kind of yoga, with a feminine way of practicing, there's not so many recipes for how it's going to look like. We feel our bodies. What does my body want? So for me, for instance, it feels good to just place the hands on my ankles and just start to move your spine. So for me right now, I feel like circling my spine. Either keep the eyes focused on one point, that helps your mind to focus and to be present when you stay at one point with your gaze, or you close your eyes. I just told the women in the room that you need to be a little bit quiet, and you're being very quiet, so if you need to make a little bit of sound or breaths, you can do that. And then starting to walk your hands up to the knees, and then we lift the knees up and keeping them bent, and then we can take a hold. You have to see if it works best for you to hold underneath your behind your thighs, underneath your thighs, or holding on top of the knees. Just see what works best for you. And what we're going to do is that we inhale and we open our chest forwards, we widen the knees, and as you exhale, you round back. Deep breaths. Let us connect again to the sense of sensuality. How does sensuality feel in my body? What does sensuality actually mean? The meaning of sensuality is to sense. To sense my body. To feel my body. As I open up, I feel my heart opening up, my chest opening up. And as I round back, I feel how I'm stretching between each vertebra in my spine. Let us all come together to the front, opening up. So my spine is pretty curved forwards. And I can feel how the heart chakra is opening, it's widening. So it's a little bit intense, but see if there's intensity in your spine. Let yourself breathe into it. And then I go the opposite way. I round my spine. And I give especially the middle back, for me at least, I give it a nice deep stretch. Inhaling, coming back to neutral, straight spine for a moment. So when we release our breath through the mouth, we release tension. from here, we're going to shift to come on our knees. So here is where the blanket might come in handy, because what we're going to do is that we're going to widen the knees. So I did this with you in a previous class because I love it so much. I find it's deeply nourishing and opening for my womb and my pelvis. So the knees are wide apart and the feet, I hope you can see it at the back, are touching together. So just see if you want to keep the toes in the ground. Maybe that works better, at least for me. And then I simply start to move the hips. So we can move it in a circular movement. And what I find here is that I can feel my pelvis in a different way. I can touch places that is difficult to reach in other poses. And let it be your own movement. So it might look totally different from mine. I actually feel like coming into like more of a, how to explain it, rounding the pelvis the opposite way, like maybe like a wave-like movement. Sometimes I don't have words to explain. Breathe yourself through the movement and feel the muscles of your sacred feminine organs. Are they tensed or are they loose? Maybe it feels good to swing from side to side. Come to the center and then flatten your legs down. So if you're keeping the toes tucked, flatten the feet down. And then sitting back. So this is kind of a variation of the frog pose. So for others that are a little bit more open than me, I find this a little bit too much. But then you place the feet wide and the toes pointing outwards. And then you kneel down like this. But by all means, it's really intense. And we're going to stay here for a minute or so. So just see. And protect your knees if you're in this pose. So just a wide child's pose also works. And this is really an amazing pose to do if you have tension in your pelvis, which I think we all do. This is, if we can find a gentle variation of this pose, and we can stay for at least 10 minutes, you will feel so much tension release. So knowing that this is really not the pose to push yourself. If you are pushing yourself, take a step back and do a gentler variation. And let us connect our breath to the pose. So the areas where you feel tension right now. Bring your breath into that place. Breathing, opening up. Staying present with your pelvis. To come out of the pose, you gently place your hands back down on the floor. You start to walk the hands back towards your knees. And then you lift yourself up and you place the knees together. And then we sit down, we stretch the feet forwards. You can bend the knees and you can sit into, I think we call it baby pose. So we keep the feet wide and you just sit like a little baby. Feeling your inner thighs. The thighs where they connect to your hips and pelvis. Let us come back down on the floor, so finding your way to lie down. We will come into a twist, so you might have your favorite twist, otherwise bend the knees up to the, close to the chest, and then exhale, lower them down to one side. Maybe placing the hand on top of the knee. And feel how your feet are fully relaxed. This is our cooling down pose for today. You can stay connected to the sensation of your breath moving your rib cage. To come over to the opposite side, you engage your core, and on the exhale, you lift back to the middle. And then you recenter yourself, and on the next exhale, over to the opposite side. Just letting your body surrender to the pose. And be aware if there's any part of your body where you're holding now to release. Coming out of the pose, engage your core. Exhale to lift back up. Place your feet down, keep the knees still bent. Let the knees rest towards each other. And then placing your hands on the womb. And for our last movement before shavasana, just start to gently touch your womb, your lower belly with the hands, and maybe it's like a stroking motion, maybe you are massaging very lightly in a circular movement. Maybe you are walking your fingers on the womb space. So rarely that we give our feminine center this attention. Maybe you also want to go to the thighs, to the inner thighs, where we often hold a lot of tension. And you may feel that there are points where it's quite painful. Or there are points where you can't really feel much. Or there are points that feels quite pleasurable. Just knowing that everything is okay. Any feeling, any sensation is okay. Let us end by placing one hand by the womb, one hand by the heart. When we are in touch with the heart and our self-care, self-love, self-acceptance, and an open heart, this feeds our womb space with so much healing and loving presence for the womb to become alive, so that we can live from our womb, so that we can come in touch with the truth of who we are. so that everything we are doing and creating, it comes from the sacred feminine inside us. And from here you can stretch your legs and we will come into shavasana. So maybe you will have a pillow under your knees. Maybe you want to cover yourself. Maybe you want to cover your eyes. So we make sure that we feel very comfortable. We have the support that we need in form of props. And let us start by taking a few deep breaths one more time. Inhaling and release. Inhale, release. One last time. Release. If it feels right for you to close the eyes, you can do that. And let the closing of the eyes be very soft. Your eyelashes are touching each other like the wings of a butterfly. And there is no wrinkles on the upper eyelid. And you feel all the tiny muscles surrounding your eyes, they soften. And then you move to your mouth. You sense your jaw. Every part of your jaw softens. And the tongue is resting in the middle of the mouth. The walls of the mouth softens. And you move your attention to your ears. And you take in the sounds surrounding you in the room, outside the room. But your ear's attention is turning inwards. So the sounds become more like a background sound. And you feel how the weight of your body starts to melt into the floor. releasing every muscle, releasing every bone into the floor, releasing every joint, every ligament, releasing every part of your skin. And take a journey around your body, the skin of your body, and pick up if there is any part you are holding. Releasing every cell of your body. Releasing and letting go of your thoughts, and what is left is the pure presence of yourself. The one that will always be there for you. And just resting into the softness of your being. And in this precious moment, you allow yourself to let go of everything. You allow yourself, your body, to open up to its self-healing energy. With each exhale, the body further let go into rest. You can imagine that as you inhale, there's an energetic space surrounding your body that widens, expands as you inhale, and as you exhale, the whole body softens. Inhalation, the body expands. Exhalation, the body softens. Ever so gently, you come back to yourself and your body. Back to the room you are resting in, to the sounds, just feeling, taking in the shifts in your body and your mind. Starting to move your fingers and your toes. You can take all the time you need to come out of the pose, and I just want to say thank you so much for joining me this evening. You can go into Shambhala gatherings and read more about my Sacred Wound retreat in the beginning of August. And on my Facebook page, A Feminine Way, there will be more sharings, so I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.